Hello everybody, in today's video I am going to be showing you a design for a rat, and me and Miss Melody really like rats, and we collect these black Halloween rats. And I say we because I used to be the one that collected them and everybody thought I was weird, and now she does it too, which is awesome. And we even have this one right here who's a skeleton rat. Melody, is this your rat? Yeah, this is Melody's rat. And so I've clearly rubbed off on her a little bit, but we love these creepy Halloween rats. So I hope you like this design as much as I do, and don't forget to check out Helen's design. Hers looks like a little rat infestation with all kinds of rats on it, which is awesome. I love it. And don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future videos as well.
So I'm going to begin with an overlay of a cover pink acrylic just over the background of the nail. I didn't want the background to be, too much to distract away from the rat, so I decided just to keep it pretty plain Jane. And after that is all on there, then you can file the nail into shape with your e-file. Hopefully don't do too much filing, just with a single color. Usually for me that means it's a pretty quick file job. And after that's done, then I'm going to begin sculpting my Mr. Rat with gray acrylic. So the reason I'm sculpting my rat with gray acrylic versus black acrylic is, if you guys have ever tried to paint or sculpt any sort of a black animal, then you know that all of the details seem to just kind of disappear in the darkness. And so for me, a lot of times when I'm doing a black animal, I actually like to sculpt them with gray, or depending on what it is, maybe brown. But a lot of times it's gray, and then add darkness later. It's easier for whatever reason to add darkness than it is to add lightness, as far as just applying the colors and getting it to the right tone that you're going for. So this is my personal preference. So I've got my little rat face there, and then I'm going to add his body coming down. And as you can see on his face, I kind of pushed the tip of my brush in to create a little indent for the eye, and I used the tip of my brush to carve in a smile, if you want to call it a smile or a grimace or whatever you want to say, and then add a little couple 3-4 wrinkles on the top of the snout for just like a snarled up nose. And then after you have that done, then you can add some wrinkles coming down the neck and keep adding as much of these details as you would like. It's really up to you how much depth you want to add to it. The great thing though with carving in these little details and the different, like crevices on the nose and on the neck and everything, is that when you do go through, and you'll see this later, but when you wash over it with acrylic paint to darken it, the paint will gather in those indents and it will get those little spots even darker, and it'll intensify them. So that little, every little bit that you sculpt in is just going to make the end result that much more impressive, because the acrylic paint will pick up on all of those places and just magnify them. So you're also going to need to sculpt a little bit of an arm on your mouse and the hind leg, like the hip area, and then 2 little ears. I said mouse, I meant rat. I'm sorry, rat. And so then you got the 2 little ears there. And then you can also take and you can add a peachy color on the inside of the ears and for the hands. Now, if your little rat has more to it, like if you're doing this on a longer nail, you're also going to need to sculpt back feet, and then you won't want to forget the tail either. So if you're doing, a longer nail, or you have more space to work, or you sculpted your rat smaller and you have the space for the tail, definitely don't forget the tail. Now, of course, if you have less space on the nail because it's shorter or whatever reason it is, then you can, just trim the design as well. And so there's always options, for variations. So I'm going to do the first hand and then do the second hand. Even though you couldn't see the upper part of the arm where you needed to sculpt it with gray, that other hand is still going to be visible. I guess hand and forearm of your little rat. And that little bit of a peach color really adds, I think, to this design, just because it makes him look like he's got more skin available. And then add his little bit of an eye with red, and definitely go straight in with red. Don't be afraid of it. And then with white, we're going to be doing all of the little bits of teeth. So you're going to want to add just those front teeth. So now I'm going to take some acrylic paint and I'm going to be doing my outlines. And instead of doing black outlines on the hands of my rat, I decided to go with a burgundy instead. And that little detail, if you take nothing else away from this, if you want something to look really kind of creepy and gross and you're doing it on that kind of a color, that red outline made those hands just look so freaky. And when I showed this design to my husband, who's the one that thinks I'm weird for collecting rats, by the way, if you're curious, he's the one that when we first met and he was looking around my room and stuff, and he was looking at stuff, and he goes, why are there rats everywhere? Mind you, this was in June, so they really weren't appropriate as far as Halloween goes. And he's just looking around and stuff. He goes, why are there rats everywhere? It's like, I like them. So anywho, he was really freaked out by the rats. Surprisingly, he didn't just run away right there. But we've got the little rat hands, and he was very disgusted by my rat hands in this design. So I know that they're good. If he doesn't like them, then it's obviously a really good choice to make when it comes to a rat. So anyways, you want to make sure you do that with the red outlines. But now, as you can see, I'm washing over the design with black paint. So I've got diluted black paint. It's water and acrylic paint mixed together, and it gives you, see how it picked up in all of those little details, and I did outline some of them to intensify it even more, but it gives you this lovely washed over, almost fur-like look because it has that other underneath color showing through, and it just is such a lovely effect. So take that same notes, and you can apply that for any black animal, whether it's a cat, dog, squirrel, whatever you're painting. If you want to do something that's a black animal, do it in a light gray and then build in that darkness. Do some outlines around the eyes, do a couple little polka dots on the cheeks for whiskers, some extra white on the teeth to make those teeth really show up and look super intense. Add the whiskers with white, even though they probably would be black on a black rat. The white whiskers are just going to show up and actually be visible. And then apply a layer of gel sealer over that background and cure it, and some matte top coat over Mr. Rat. And that is it. I am so in love with this design, if you guys can't tell by all of my enthusiasm. I hope you like it as much as I do. And don't forget to definitely check out Helen's design. More rats the better, right? And please share your creations with me on Facebook or Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye!